Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, with our ongoing series on marketing management, in our previous session we discussed on sales promotion in detail because there is a lot to talk on sales promotion, so we would be discussing more on sales promotion today. Today we would be covering planning and process of sales promotions, retail promotions, sales promotion and brand equity, strengths and limitations of sales promotion as well as sales promotion and law. And for this discussion we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Garima Gupta. Dr. Garima Gupta is Associate Professor in Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University. So let's welcome our guest Dr. Garima Gupta and let's try to grab more knowledge on sales promotion through her. Hello ma'am, welcome to today's lecture.
Thank you ma'am. Okay students, so today we would continue our discussion on sales promotion. In the previous session we had learned what is sales promotion, and I had told you that sales promotion is nothing but a call to action. For a temporal period, the marketeer may try to come up with certain incentives and offers so that consumers respond actively and positively to the brands, and there is a certain stimulation of demand which happens as a result of the sales promotion schemes. We also discussed that there are primarily three types of sales promotions. One, which is the consumer promotions, that is nothing but a direct incentivization which happens from the marketeer's side or the manufacturer's side to the consumers. In the second type of sales promotion, we discussed that there are trade promotions which are nothing but the incentives which are offered by the marketeers and the organizations to the trade, that is the dealers, the wholesalers or the retailers. There is also a retail promotions which happens from the retail side to the consumer's side. Also, the third type of sales promotion happens, which is the business promotions, where you see the trade fairs and the exhibitions that take place in order to stimulate the demand. In today's session, we would be covering some of the tools and techniques under all these three types of sales promotion schemes. Also, we would try to understand what is the detailed process of planning the sales promotion. So, how a manufacturer or a retailer goes step by step at the time of planning the sales promotion schemes. We would also understand at depth as to what is the impact of sales promotion schemes on the brand equity of a particular brand or product. We would also try to understand the strengths and the limitations of the sales promotion scheme, and would try to wrap up the discussion by talking about the sales promotions and the law or the legal considerations. So let us begin the discussion by talking about the tools and promotions of the various schemes which are directed towards the consumers first. So when we talk about the consumer promotions, the first thing that one needs to understand are the objectives for which the marketeer or the organization or the manufacturer would come up with the promotions for the consumers directly. The first objective could be to entice the consumers to try a new product. We know that as consumers, we are little hesitant in trying the new products. There are multiple risks which are involved in the same, due to which the consumers may not like to immediately go for a new product which they see in the market. Say for example, there is a functional risk. So I or you as a consumer may not be very clear as to what kind of functional utility the new product is going to provide us. Or there is a physical risk. I don't know to what extent the product would harm me or may harm me on the use of or the consumption of the product. So I may be little hesitant in trying a new soap or shampoo because I just don't know what kind of reaction it would have on my skin or whether it would suit my body type or not. There could be risk related to, say, funds. So there is a financial risk. So I would be spending my money on a new product and I don't want to take that risk and let the money go waste. There could be social risk. So what would people feel and what would people think about me if they get to know about the fact that I have bought certain products and services under a sales promotion schemes. So there are certain these kind of risks which hold the consumers back in times where a new product is launched and they don't come up very responsibly in terms of buying that particular product. So manufacturers or marketeers in that case have to provide a little push to that particular product in terms of coming up with various kind of sales promotion schemes in order to initiate the trial. Sampling as a tool is often used by the manufacturers in this case. So you often find those sachet packs of, say, creams and the soaps and certain other kind of products pasted in the newspapers or given free at the retail counters just in order to initiate this kind of trial. So the first thing which the consumer promotions serve as an objective is to initiate the trial and cut down on the risk factor, which may be acting as a deterrent on the part of the consumer to be trying that product. The second objective for which the consumer promotions is often used is to lure the customers away from the competitor's brand. So, I want to exhibit this kind of a tendency whereby I would like to position my product as a little higher in terms of quality, in terms of functionality, in terms of, say, brand value than the rival firm. So, it's a one effective way to make this kind of a switching behavior happen in favor of my product would be to come up with the sales promotion schemes. If you can recall, in the previous session also we had discussed about the individual and the market level impact of sales promotion schemes on the consumers, whereby we had discussed that in case of market level impact of sales promotion schemes, the promotions help us in coming up with repeat purchases, brand switching, category expansion and purchase acceleration. So this is exactly this kind of brand switching which a manufacturer aims at through the consumer promotions. The third objective for which the manufacturer may come up with the sales promotion schemes for the consumers directly is to load them with their product, especially the products which are in the maturity stage or which have now started giving you a matured kind of a sales revenue. Like for example, I want you not only to buy my brand of washing powder or soap or cookies, but I also want you to be loaded up with enough quantity of these kind of products so that for a considerable period of time in future, the consumer will not be placing any further order or will not be looking at the competing offerings in the market. So this is a kind of a strategy where I want you to buy not only my brand, but I also want you to buy enough of the quantity. I want you to load up with that particular product and stock that particular product in your household so that for a considerable period of time the consumer will not think of changing that particular product or again buying that particular product. I also want to hold and reward the loyal customers, which could be one of the reasons where the manufacturers or the marketeers would be directly rolling out certain promotional schemes for the consumers, especially the loyalists one. So this is one good way of returning back or paying for their loyalty in the form of patronage rewards, in the form of a preferential treatment, so that they not only feel good about the organization, but they also maintain cordial relationship and a long-term relationship and would also be recommending my products to others. So in a way it goes in a good consumer building relationship process. In order to serve these kind of objectives that we have just now discussed, there is a basket of tools and techniques which a marketeer can use, and these tools and techniques cover schemes like coupons. So often we come across coupons which can be redeemed at a subsequent time period. There could be cash refunds, so let's say, or there could be price packs where I would be coming up with a differential packing or a differential pricing whereby certain products would be available at a reduced price. There would be special priced packs during a particular period when the sales promotion schemes by the manufacturers would be on. There could be premium packs that I can get my hands on. There could be sampling that I can make use of so as to initiate trial. There could be patronage rewards for the loyal base of consumers. There could be contests which can be run. There could be certain kind of sweepstakes or game of chance which the manufacturer can organize. There could be certain games or point of purchase displays, and we would see what these are and how they can impact the consumer response to sales promotion schemes. Let's say coupons, we see that you order fast food and many a times on the box there is a coupon pasted which can be redeemed on the subsequent order being placed by that brand or by that particular organization. The refunds and rebates which are generally done on package goods, which not only help you in increasing the purchase rate but also to promote the multiple repeat purchases, because you know that this kind of a refund or this kind of a rebate would be available to these kind of purchases that you make now. There could be samples, there could be bonus packs where you get extra quantity of the same thing or more quantity at the same price. There could be contest where the consumers are given a chance to win a prize, so that there is an added excitement and urgency in the consumers not only to participate and enjoy, and there is a fun element attached to it, but also at the end of the day they get to win some prize, which is an attraction for the consumer to participate and to take advantage of these kind of offers. There could be sweepstakes where the winner is going to only win by chance, or say there are certain other kinds of games which are involved where probably buying the product or the purchase of the product is not the requirement, so you can just get yourself into that particular mode and you can enjoy those sweepstakes kind of thing, which attracts the consumers towards the brands of the organization. There could be specialty advertising, which is nothing but you are coming up with certain goodies and you are coming up with certain articles which are of any use, and there is a name or the logo of the marketer or the manufacturer being printed on it. So when it passes hands, there is a kind of a promotion which takes place. Like during the New Year's, you would find lot of diaries and calendars and pens which the name of the company and the manufacturers is printed on it. So when you use those pens and letterheads and things like that, the small articles of daily use, there is a promotion which is happening. So you get to have these goodies and you get to have these kind of articles free, and they are distributed free as a result of the sales promotion offer, or you get those things because you took advantage of a sales promotion offer. In the second tie, where you would be talking about the trade promotions, again let us discuss what could be the various objectives behind the trade promotions being offered and what can be the tools and the techniques in that direction. So when you talk about trade promotions, the first and the foremost objective is to persuade the retailers or the wholesalers to carry a brand. Now this is not a problem with the established firms, this is not a problem with the established brands, but for the new brands which enter the market, it is really very difficult for them to convince the wholesaler or the retailer to carry their brands and to push their brands across the shelves. So it's you have to incentivize the retailers and the wholesalers or the traders or the dealers who actually act as a middleman and who would be providing that due push to the product to carry that product in the market. So that incentivization then comes in the form of sales promotion scheme. So if you want them to agree to stock your product in their retail outlets, or if you want them to carry your brand and to provide them with a good shelf space, you have to incentivize them or to provide them with some benefits, and these benefits come in the form of sales promotion schemes. You also may want to acquire a good shelf space. So say in case of a retail store, there are typically say certain bins and there are certain containers and there are certain racks and shelves. Now you want to have a prominent place on the shelf so that when the consumer enters the store or the shop, his attention comes directly on your brand. So because you want to have a strategic position on the shelf, which is like something which has a lot to do with visual merchandising, so you want to have a good display on the shelf, a prominent display on the shelf related to your brand, you need to incentivize the trade to give you that shelf space. Or you want to promote a brand in advertising. Many a times we find that the wholesalers and the retailers, typically the retailers and the dealers, they sometimes assume the responsibility of promoting the product, and for that they take many more functions along with the manufacturer, like the functions related to packaging or labeling or say promotions in the form of advertising or coming up with the information leaflets, distribution aspect of it. So it's when you assign this kind of responsibility to the retailer to do some sort of advertising and promotions for the product, you need to incentivize the retail because of the function that he would be performing in this direction. And one such form of incentivizing is the sales promotion scheme. So when he comes up with the posters inside the shop or the point of purchase displays which happens inside the retail stores are one way of promoting the product at the retailer's end. There could be a way in which he would be pushing a brand to the consumer. So many a times we as consumers are in a state of conflict as to which particular oil we want to buy, which particular soap or cream we want to go for, which particular say health drink is good, and therefore often at times we go for the recommendation of the retail owner. So you ask them as to which particular brand of say health drink is the most selling brand these days, and you end up buying the one which is being recommended by him. So this kind of recommendation and this kind of push which he is providing to the product, he needs to be incentivized in order to provide this push, and the incentivization again comes in the form of sales promotion schemes. The various tools and techniques which could be used by the manufacturers in order to incentivize the trade is again almost similar to ones that are being used when you want to directly incentivize or benefit the consumers. So some of these schemes include the price off, so you give them certain discounts and allowances, you give them some buyback guarantees that in case my brand fail to sell in the market, I'll be taking the stock back, so that the ultimate responsibility and the ultimate loss is to be borne only by the manufacturer and not by the retail. There could be certain free goods like say free items that you could be providing them, installing of say visi-coolers, giving them with the containers and the baskets, taking care of the racks, and so on and so forth. There could be certain amount that you would be giving them for good displays. You could be announcing say the dealer of the month, the employees of the month, you could be sending them to a trip abroad, you could be providing them with certain say gift items, you could be running certain contests for them, and with a healthy mix of say these kind of activities and these kind of schemes, you could be providing due incentive to the trade to help you with the whole process of promoting your product in the market indirectly through the trade. Then comes the schemes for say the business. So the third type of promotions which is often done falls in the line of B2B promotions, which is business to business promotions. So far what we were talking about were the promotions which were taking place for the consumers or for the trade. Now we are talking about the promotions which happens between the two business parties. Now the basic objective of this kind of promotions would be to generate business or to generate the leads or to stimulate the purchaser or motivate the salesperson to come forward and provide that kind of business to the party or to reward the customers in some way. Often you come across the trade fairs and the exhibitions which are held, which is nothing but a form of B2B promotion, so that everybody comes under one roof and they generate business opportunities through that interaction. Let us talk about what could be the overall process of designing a sales promotions. So let's say one has to go by a sales promotion plan in a methodological manner which may involve series of steps, and these steps include first of all having a very clear cut idea about your corporate objectives. So let's say this is ultimately what my organizational goals are, and then I have to align my marketing goals and my subsequent promotional goals along with the organizational goals. So once I am very clear about my organizational goals, I would like to develop my marketing goals which will help me in the accomplishment of my broader organizational goals. And then as a result of the fact that promotions is nothing but an important piece of my overall marketing mix, I would then be designing my marketing objectives and would be aligning these marketing objectives along with my promotional objectives. Or in the other way, I can say that I would then be making my promotional objectives more aligned and more synchronized with my broader marketing objectives. So let's say after doing that, I would be designing my sales promotions as to how exactly I want to go about it. I would be executing the program, and then I would be exercising some sort of a review check in order to see the extent to which my sales promotion program has worked for the benefit of the organization, or has it really allowed me to achieve the objectives for which the sales promotion was planned in the first place. Let us talk about these now in a greater detail. So when I talk about the marketing objectives and the promotional objective, this is how I can align them. So it says, suppose for an organization, the marketing objective would be to increase its market share or to expand its activities in the firm so that I can now grab a greater share of the total market pie. So let's say my marketing strategy could move in the line where I would be exercising some sort of push and pull, or a healthy mix of push and pull. So I would be using promotions which will pull the product through advertising, and would also be exercising some due push in that direction. Now my promotional objective has to be designed in such a manner so that they are compatible with the marketing objectives which I have designed, because at the end of the day my promotion is only a subset of my marketing mix strategies. So my promotional objectives would now aim at having a 90% or more distribution for the product, because it's only when the product is having this kind of distribution network where it is reaching out to that kind of market, only then I can hope to attain a market share, which is one of my marketing objectives. My promotional strategy could be to use good enough trade deals, because it's the trade which is going to help me in achieving that kind of distribution, especially in the areas where distribution network needs to be built in, so that I can expand on my market share. So this is how my promotional objective would be well attuned with my marketing objectives, and my marketing objectives would be more attuned with my overall organizational corporate goals. Coming down to the design elements, so let's say once I'm clear on what my objectives are and what my TG is, like whether I would like to offer the sales promotion schemes for the new base of customers, and I want to initiate the scheme so as to encourage them to try the new product, or I want to come up with the schemes for the existing base of my users so as to take them away from the competing firms' products, and in order to retain their consumption for my brand only, or I want to go ahead with my loyal base of customers and would like to run the sales promotion schemes for the loyal base of users. So let's say I have to choose the target group for which I would like to run the sales promotion schemes. Once I am okay with the TG for whom I would be targeting my sales promotion schemes, I would be looking towards the various other kinds of design elements, and these other kind of design elements would have to consider the following aspects, like what should be my type of offer. Now when I talk about type of offer, I want to emphasize on certain aspects, like for example, would I like to go for an immediate kind of an offer, or immediate kind of a reward for the consumers, or I want to give them some sort of a delayed reward. Now what I mean by immediate reward versus delayed kind of a reward, immediate is what you get in the form of, say, price cut. So let's say I have reduced the price of my pack of chips by 5 rupees. So let's say henceforth the packet of chips, instead of costing you rupees 20 as a consumer, you would have to shell out only rupees 15, because the manufacturer has announced a price of rupees 5 on every pack of its brand of chips. Now this is an immediate reward. So the moment I go to the market and buy that packet of chips, I am going to get a 5 rupee off on that particular packet. But the delayed would be, I would be enjoying that particular benefit in the subsequent time period or later on. It's not an instantaneous kind of a reward which is happening right at the point of purchase, right? So it could be in the form of getting extra chips in the packet. So at the same price of, say, rupees 20, I would be getting more quantity of chips in the same packet, right? So this would be a delayed kind of reward. So coupons that you get fall in the category of delayed reward, or extra value that you get fall in the category of delayed reward. So you would be buying the toothpaste at the same price, but there would be more quantity of toothpaste now available, there would be more quantity of oil available, more quantity of something available, which comes under the added value. So there is an added value, there is a value addition in the form which is not the price form, but in some other manner. So the benefit you are going to get, but that benefit is going to come little while later. There could be certain other aspects which one needs to consider in the design elements, like the product scope. So what is the scope for the manufacturer while he is announcing or while he is planning the sales promotion schemes? And by scope we mean you want to have the sales promotion schemes to be offered on multiple products, or you want to assign them only to some selected category of products. So I am dealing with whole range of cookies, like for example Britannia is dealing in whole range of products. So when Britannia as a manufacturer wants to come up with the sales promotion scheme, would it like to announce it on all types of products under Britannia, or it want to have it on only the selected items under Britannia? Or would it like to have it on more popular items, more popular kind of cookies, or less popular kind of cookies? Would it like to have it in the related direction or the unrelated direction? Now, what I mean by related and unrelated kind of sales promotion scheme is, like for example, if I want to run sales promotion scheme on my brand of toothpaste, so would I like to give a toothbrush along with it, which is a related product, which is related item to be used along with the toothpaste, or would I like to go in an unrelated direction, say having a soft toy along with it, or having a price off, or having some other item which probably has no use or no relationship when it comes to toothpaste? So would I like to come up with a merchandise which I would like to give along with the product under a sales promotion offer to be in the related category of the product or in the unrelated category of the product? The size and the quantum is also one of the aspect which is included under the product factors only. So, let's say what should be the size of, say, the merchandise or the kind of discount and the quantum of discount which I would like to give away under the sales promotion offer. So, when I am talking about extra quantity, how much extra quantity? When I am talking about price discount, how much price discount should I keep so as to lure the consumer or so as to attract the consumer? So, what could be that exact size and the quantum of discounts and the schemes which would be sufficient enough to attract the consumers to my place? Students, we would be talking about more such design elements which need to be considered as a part of the manufacturer at the time of designing the sales promotion schemes. So, let us continue with the discussion on the design elements. We were talking about the product scope factors, that these are the elements which need to be considered at the time of designing the sales promotion scheme. And we had discussed that the relatedness or the unrelatedness of the product, size and the quantity or the quantum of the discounts and the schemes that you want to offer are important aspects which need to be considered at the time of designing the sales promotion. The next aspect which the manufacturer needs to take into consideration is the market scope factors, which is the factors such as whether the manufacturer would like to run the sales promotion scheme on a national basis, that is the pan-India kind of a sales promotion scheme, or it would like to keep it only to a local or the regional level. Like in some of the cases, you would see the scheme running across the country. So, wherever you go, the same manufacturer would be having those kind of schemes running. Whereas in some of the other cases, you would find that only the select stores or only the select places are running the schemes and it is not available on a nationwide basis. So, this is something again which a manufacturer has to decide as to the range and the scope of activities when it comes to the sales promotion schemes to be offered. We also have, in line with this, the decision areas related to timing. That is, whether I want to have it during the off season or on season. You would find in the marketplace there are certain schemes which are run during the season, whereas there are certain schemes which are running when the season is about to come to a close. So there would be some sort of a clearance sales that you see in the marketplace at the time when the winter season is going to come to an end. As against this, you would also find some of the sales going on when the winter garments are still in demand. So this call is again with the hands of the manufacturer to decide whether he wants to go for an off-season sale, or he would come up with the sales promotion schemes during the period itself. The duration of the sales promotion also matters a lot. As we have discussed in the previous session also, that the sales promotion schemes are temporal in nature, and the time period is something which is very, very important. You cannot run the sales promotion schemes for a continuous period. So there is always this kind of an urgency which is created because the consumer knows that he has a limited option available with him for a limited duration of time. So unless and until he acts fast during that stipulated time period, he is not going to get any benefit arising out of the sales promotion offer. So as a result of this, you really have to keep the time period to be very important under your consideration of factors. Now when you talk about the duration, you have to decide whether you want to run the scheme for say 3 days or a week or 10 days. You want to do it every time and run a scheme as a continuous basis every year, say for a week. So it would be an annual feature of your organization or annual feature of your brand to come up with the annual sales offer every year. Or you also want to keep it, say, very restricted during the festival offers only. So this is the time period which matters a lot. There is also another aspect why the timing period is such an important consideration for the manufacturers while going in for sales promotion offer is, if the time period is too short, probably the consumers do not get to know about the sales promotion scheme and it would not give you the desired kind of results. As against this, if the time period is very long and if the duration of the sales promotion offer extends to a long period of time, there is always a possibility that the competing firms would get enough time in their hands to respond back or to retaliate with the competing sort of sales promotion scheme. So you don't want to give the competing or the rival firms time enough to respond to your sales promotion scheme. So by the time the competitors come up with their own sales promotion schemes or they respond to your sales promotion schemes, the schemes should have served their objective. Another aspect which needs to be considered here is the tactics. That is, what should be the conditions of participation, especially when you run schemes like, say, the coupons. So there are certain terms and conditions which one needs to take into account. Or you run contests, so there are certain conditions for participation in that sweepstakes or contest. So you need to come up with certain terms and conditions which should be very well designed and informed to the consumers that these are the terms and conditions for you to participate in the sales promotion schemes. Also, one needs to take into account the kind of impact the sales promotion scheme is going to have on the brands. Now, when you talk about the impact can be the short-term impact or the long-term impact. And we see in the short term, probably the impact is always positive and favorable because the consumers, they feel attracted towards the schemes, they respond to the schemes, and you see a sudden splurge in the sales graph of your brand. It is generally in the long term that you find the sales promotion scheme, if they are used with an unplanned manner or if they are used for a continuous period, they might start having a detrimental impact on the brand equity, and therefore one needs to assess what kind of impact you foresee the promotions to be having on your brand before you come up with these schemes in the marketplace. The last thing which needs to be considered is obviously the competing firm's reaction. So you should not give enough time for the competing firm to respond or retaliate with a similar kind of promotions. So by the time you feel that they are likely to come up with the promotions which are more imitable in nature, you should come up with the schemes which would have served their due purpose. Briefly, if we capture whatever we have discussed so far, we can come up with a flowchart kind of thing, starting from the first step where a marketer or a manufacturer would be assessing and analyzing the present situation to see where the role of sales promotion schemes fit in. Then you come about identifying the various alternative schemes which one can come up with, and a healthy mix can be drawn, both the push and the pull, both the consumer promotions and the trade promotions going hand in hand. You incorporate the creativity so as to make it more novel for the consumers to respond to. You come up with the requirements of the schemes, take certain preliminary primary decisions related to what should be the duration, what should be the timing of the schemes. You should develop an evaluative criteria as to once the schemes are launched and once the period is over, you should be able to track the performance of the scheme in order to gauge as to the extent to which they have helped you in achieving your overall objective of stimulating them. And then you monitor and see the extent to which the offer has helped you in accomplishing the marketing objectives, the promotional objectives, the organizational objectives, and at the end you evaluate the effectiveness of the sales promotion program and see the areas which need the improvement in the subsequent schemes to be launched by the company in future. Let's take a sample scheme here. So let us assume that you want to come up with a consumer promotions. So in the first stage you would be assessing the market situation. So let us say the product category is either increasing or decreasing. So let's say if it is increasing, it is good sign, and therefore you would be coming up with more healthy promotions to keep or withhold on to this market share, or to withhold on this level of sales. If it is decreasing, it is then a problem, and you need to come up with the sales promotion schemes which will probably then help the manufacturer in dealing with this decrease in the sales figure of its brand. You also need to assess probably the economic situation which might be adversely affecting the sales figures, due to which it is showing a decreasing trend. So any economic activity, say the inflationary trend in the system, or people projecting more intensity to save rather than consume, or some other sort of economic activity, say probably demonetization, because of which people may not be spending that much or that much cash, or they would be looking for some savings in whatever they buy. Once you have identified the problem to be solved, that is, once you have identified as to what is actually happening to your brand, you would be deciding on your sales promotion scheme, and aligning with it, you would also be tracking the competing firms' development in the same area as to how the competing firms are dealing with the same situation. Then comes next an assessment and determination of your sales promotion objective. So let us say that probably in this case the sales objective could be that your promotional plan wants to achieve a certain level of sales, and the objective would be to use a healthy mix of both the consumer and the trade promotions. Then you need to take into account the decision related to where you want to promote. So the area of promotion, like what would be the territory, what would be the scope of your promotions. You want to keep it regional or local, or you want to keep it at a national level. What kind of strategy and what specific tool you would be using? Would it be sampling? Would it be price off? Would it be, say, coupons? Would it be a healthy mix of, say, the contest also on one hand, the price promotions on the other hand, and some trade gift and the dealer's promotion on the other hand? And towards the end, you would be using certain evaluative criteria in order to gauge the performance of your sales promotion program, so that you get to know as to the areas in which the sales promotion program worked well and the areas which probably would need improvement in the future sales promotion planning process. Having discussed all this, let us now focus our attention on how retail promotions are carried out. These days, retail has come up in a big way, and the retailers, they are really keen to draw traffic into their retail outlets, as a result of which they also often plan retail promotions from their side. So one can understand retail promotions as the process of planning, budgeting, presenting and executing certain incentive programs which occur between the retailers on one hand and the consumers on the other. Now, the basic objective is to enhance the sales of a specific store and enhance the sales of a specific product in that particular store. So if we want to understand the sales promotion objective for the retailers in specificity, the certain objectives that could be outlined are: one, I want to generate the store traffic. So it's a generally in a retail store setting, what counts is how many people come to a particular store and how many of them end up buying something from that store. So it's only when the store enjoys a good amount of footfall, a good level of footfall, can I hope as a retailer to be converting this footfall into the monetary flow that the store would be enjoying. So let's say the first purpose then becomes to generate the traffic, and one effective way of generating the traffic is to announce the sales promotion scheme. So when I know that certain stores have come up with a sales promotion offer or certain kind of schemes, it is a natural tendency on the consumers to respond by going or visiting that particular store, which would then enhance the traffic or the footfall of that particular store. Another purpose of coming up with the sales promotion schemes could be to move the excess inventory. So over a time period, we know that there is always a space constraint in the stores, and there is always a need to change the merchandise which is available or the merchandise which is on display. So people want to see what new has come up in the store, and therefore the excess stock or the piled up stock has to be removed well in time. And in order to do that, the stores often come up with the sales promotion scheme so as to get rid of the piled up inventory and to give way to the new inventory or replenish it with the new inventory. Now, once that is done, we can also go by, say, the loyalty schemes so that the consumers would again and again visit the store. So often you find the stores coming up with the loyalty cards or the bonus points. So whenever you shop at that particular store, there would be some bonus points which would be credited to your account, or there would be a loyalty card that you can use and you would be getting special discounts and special privileges by use of that loyalty card in that store. It also enhances the store image. Now, in some of the cases, you would find that not only it is enhancing the store image, in some of the cases, the stores have positioned themselves on this particular basis as to how they promote their merchandise and how they take care of their retail promotions. Like there are certain stores which are known as the stores which are based on EDLP concept, which is everyday low prices. So you know that they work on the EDLP, which is nothing but the kind of promotions which they offer to their consumers, which then becomes one effective way of distinguishing themselves with the other stores in that nearby area or in that vicinity. There could be stores which are known for, say, coming up with their sales only once in a year, and they cater to the good brands and say the premium kind of offering. So it's say they are not the stores which would be catering to your everyday requirements, but they are known and they are positioned as stores which would come up only with the annual sales once, and that too only on the select merchandise. So this could also be one of the ways in which you can differentiate your store and differentiate your merchandise from other competing firms solely on the basis of how you come up with your promotions. This could also create a price image that this is a store where always certain discounts and allowances are available, and the things are promoted on a regular basis, as against some of the other stores which might not opt for this kind of a positioning or this kind of an image for their either the store or the merchandise in which they deal with. Some of the strategies which are often used by the retailers in the retail promotions include differentiating the products. So it's say once you know that the consumers would be interested in coming to a store only when I have to offer a merchandise which is different from what the competing stores have to offer. This gives you a competitive edge, but it is not often possible or always possible for the retailers to be competing on this kind of a parameter. So when you know that physical difference is not what is luring the customers inside the store, you try to differentiate your offerings by coming up with the sales promotion offers. You know that the two stores in the same area may be catering to similar kind of a need set, may also be having a similar kind of merchandise. But what is then going to distinguish one store from the other is that one probably would be having a retail promotions running in the store and the other may not be having it. So the store which is running the promotions on its merchandise is bound to draw the traffic for a temporal period at least. There could be a post-purchase satisfaction which you can aim at. So, say there would be, say, free home deliveries and say free feedback kind of mechanism, adhering to the consumer satisfaction norms more stringently, having your store located at a strategic location, specialized location, giving this 24/7 kind of a convenience to the consumers. The fact that you are never out of stock would also go in the favor of the store, and these are some of the other strategies which the stores often use in order to attract the consumers to their outlets. Let us now talk about how sales promotion can affect the brand equity of any product or brand equity of any brand for that matter. We know, students, that there are certain requirements for a successful branding, like you have to adhere to the quality specifications, and not only that, there has to be a consistent quality levels that you have to maintain. There is a differential advantage that everybody looks for in order to see that kind of a distinction very apparent in the offerings which you make to the market. So, let's say you differentiate between two brands only on the basis of what they have to offer to you in terms of features, in terms of functionality, in terms of quality, in terms of prices also. Also, this kind of differential advantage has to be communicated. So, say you would be communicating the ways in which you feel that your brand or your offering is a little more superior than the competing firms' offerings in the marketplace. All said and done, this is probably very easy to communicate, but this is even harder to achieve. And the problem is that it is really difficult to come up with a product which is truly different. Often a time, especially in the category of fast moving consumer goods or in the category of non-durables, you would find there is a lot of competition because of the fact that the products are very easily substitutable. So, there is hardly truly any difference that you would find between one brand of soap and the other brand of soap, one shampoo and the other shampoo, one brand of bread and the other brand of bread, and so on and so forth. So, what makes it difficult is then how to create this kind of differentiation when they are almost substitutable. Also, even if there is a differential advantage, that differential advantage is very difficult to hold on to. So, how can a manufacturer sustain on that differential advantage and ensure that the competing firm is not going to come up with a improved version or a similar version of the product or the scheme? Also, at times you have to have a widely held technical experience or expertise in order to create that kind of a differential advantage. So, when it comes to technological front, probably holding on to a differential advantage is still easy. When it comes to location, probably you can hold on to it, but when it comes to the kind of merchandise, holding on to a differential advantage is never easy, because the competing firm can also stock the similar kind of merchandise that you are holding on to, and therefore it would fail to provide you that kind of a differential advantage. Also, the consumers may be loyal to many brands and many stores at the same time. So, how to ensure the consumer would be holding on to its brand loyalty only to your brand and would not be switching in favor of some other brands in future? So, let's say you do come up with the sales promotion schemes, but these sales promotion schemes only for a temporal period can make that brand switch happen. But when it comes to the equity of the firm, if you continuously use the sales promotion schemes instead of positively being taken by the firms, they can adversely impact the brand equity in the eyes of the consumers. Many a times we as consumers also feel why a particular brand has come up with a sales promotion offer. Probably they have compromised on their quality. Probably this is the product which is not selling so much in the market. Probably it is not enjoying that kind of demand, and therefore manufacturer has come up with a sales promotion scheme in order to get rid of its stock. So, these are the questions which naturally come to our mind as a consumer, and all these questions, they adversely affect the brand equity. So, let's say in order to deal with it, you have to understand that if you want to enhance the brand equity, you should be making use of sales promotion schemes if it is required, but you should not make use of sales promotion scheme as a continuous activity of a company. Enhanced brand equity often results in increased desirability of the brand. If the brand enjoys good equity, good worth in the eyes of the consumers would naturally desire to own that particular brand. It would also enhance your trade, it would also help you in fetching better prices for your product, it would help you also as a manufacturer to go for easy brand extensions, because you know that people already desire your one product line. It is very easy for you to extend or diversify into other related or unrelated areas. So overall it affects your profitability in a positive manner. On the contrary, your enhanced brand equity, if you fail to capture that, it is going to dilute the brand over a period of time. Like we have seen in some of the cases like Utoons and Cantables, because they have made use of continued steep discounting practices, it has over a period of time adversely affected their brand, because the consumers have started taking their brands for granted. They are always offering those kind of steep discounts, and therefore there is no other attraction which the consumer feels in having those brands. So, this has adversely impacted the brand. Also, we say the enhanced brand equity is also often advantageous for the firms in the sense that it helps you in reducing your marketing cost. So, when it comes to your marcom cost, that is marketing communication cost, the brand equity, if it is placed at a higher level, helps the manufacturer. How? Because then you need to transact with the consumer more, but you need not communicate with the consumer more on a continuous basis, because your brand already enjoys that brand equity and you just have to capitalize on your high brand value. Also, there is less price competition that you face, because the brand enjoys that kind of equity in the market, which creates a distinguishing factor for the brand in its own way. What happens when you put the brand on deal then? So we need to understand that putting a brand on deal therefore is something which needs to be exercised with caution. Putting a brand on deal often turns out to be unprofitable if the consumer is a promotional sensitive person. It may be okay, but if the consumer is a promotional insensitive consumer and is not likely to alter its demand in relation to the changes or in relation to the offers being made, even when you put a deal on the brand, the deal is not going to give any profits to the manufacturer. Also, we see that the continued use of the sales promotion schemes can often adversely affect the brand equity and therefore should be exercised with lot of caution. As against this, the brands which are on deal turns out to be a profitable proposition only if the consumers are on deal consumers. Now, what we mean by on deal consumers, these are the deal prone consumers. There is a certain segment of consumers we would often seen around us who would only buy the products which are only on deal. So, it's I may not need that particular product, but I may end up buying that particular product only because I see the products offering certain sales promotion offers. So, such kind of products who are sold or who fetch this kind of a demand pattern only because there is a sales promotion offer click with the consumers who are deal prone, who are very deal sensitive. So, the moment they find a good deal happening in the market, they end up buying that particular product. So, it is not the features of the product, it is not the brand of the product which matters to them, but they keep on comparing the deals which are being offered by the manufacturer, and it is basically the sales promotion schemes which make these kind of products sell in the market. Let us now talk about how one can make the overall promotions more effective for the consumers. Students, we see that there are three ways in which the promotions can be made effective. On the one hand, where we see that the promotions are to be cautiously used, there's a healthy mix of promotions which are available with the marketeers, and it often becomes a state of, say, conflict as to whether I should go for consumer promotions or trade promotions, push strategy or pull strategy, whether I should focus more on advertising or my sales promotion scheme. What makes it effective is if you pay emphasis on three broad parameters. And these three broad parameters are, especially when it comes to sales promotion schemes, one, what is the information content? In the sense is what all you need to inform the consumer about your sales promotion scheme, what all they need to know. that is the genuinity of the sales promotion scheme. Often when you see the sales promotion schemes running in the market, there is a price discount. There is often a question which comes to our mind as consumers is this sale genuine? Are they really promising this kind of a price discount which is written on the hoardings or on the information? So to what extent the information which you are providing to the consumers regarding your sales promotion scheme is complete, genuine, and is truthful information. So they act on the basis of information content which is made available to them, and here the advertising has a role to play. So it's even when you launch the sales promotion schemes, the information about the sales promotion schemes is provided through the advertisement. So advertisement should be giving this kind of an information and a clear information about the sales promotion scheme, which can be one of the effective ways of going about your sales promotions. The second is, what kind of economic utility you think the sales promotion scheme is providing. We know that consumers at the end of the day are rational consumers, and they are always looking towards the ways and means which is going to maximize their economic utility. So the schemes which promise you economic savings, the schemes which promise you monetary benefits are the schemes which are going to attract the consumers more, and therefore they are going to turn out to be more effective as against the schemes which are either the value added schemes or the schemes which are going to give you a delayed benefit, or the schemes which are more in the line of non-monetary promotions like the gifts or the hampers. So we say, if you want to really make your promotions effective, you have to have this added feature of making it more useful in terms of the economic utility which the sales promotion scheme is likely to provide to its user base. The third factor which usually affects and attracts the consumers towards a promotion is what kind of effective appeal. So how emotionally they are going to be driven by that whole promotional offer. It is the due combination of these three components, that is the information content, the effective appeal or the emotional appeal of that particular bargain, and the economic utility of that particular sales promotion offer, that is going to make the consumers evaluate the offer in nutshell. So it's you are going to evaluate the deals and you are going to form an intention to buy that particular product or to take advantage of that sales promotion offer when you feel that these three components are moving in a positive direction, so to say. They are, by taking care of that deal or by going in for that particular sales promotion offer, the consumer would be positively gaining on these three fronts. So only when you can convince the consumer that he is going to gain on all these three fronts, that the consumer is more likely to opt or given to that kind of an inducement to buy something under a sales promotion offer or to respond more favorably to your sales promotion schemes. No doubt there would be certain other factors which would be guiding or which would be say influencing his thought process as a consumer, and these factors could be individual differences of the consumer. Like some of the consumers, they are say more deal prone and therefore they are more likely to jump on to any sales promotion schemes that you may have to offer. As against this, there could be another segment of consumers who would be more rational in their choice of schemes, or who would not immediately jump onto a sales promotion offer the moment they see it, and they would be more say planned and they would be more rational in terms of choosing their brands and exercising their purchase decision. There could be host number of other controllable as well as uncontrollable factors which could affect the choice of consumers and their response to the sales promotion scheme. But still, in order to effectively tap the sales promotion scheme and in order to effectively have the favorable response of the consumers for your sales promotion scheme, the marketeer can make the schemes more effective if they focus on these three factors. That is the kind of information content that you would be having, the kind of emotional appeal the scheme would be having, and the kind of economic benefits or the savings which the scheme is going to promise, or the incentives which the schemes are going to promise to the consumers. So students, we have by and large seen how the sales promotion schemes work, let us quickly run through some of the downside of sales promotions. Like we have seen that they are generally short term in nature, so they cannot function well if you make the certain sales promotion scheme as your continuous activity. On the contrary, they are going to have an adverse impact on your brand equity. So they have to be non-recurring in their use. Also, too many kind of sales promotion schemes can adversely impact your image. They are also seen as say low status by the advertising agencies, because the agencies feel that the company should newly advertise rather than focus on the sales promotion avenues. And last but not the least, the sales promotion schemes should be used as a supplementary device to your other form of promotion. So when it comes to your PR activities, your personal selling activities, your advertising, if you club these activities along with your sales promotion schemes, the manufacturer stands to gain a lot more rather than only concentrating on their sales promotion efforts. So students, at the end of the session, I am sure that you would have learned some good insights about the sales promotion as an effective tool of promotions. Thank you.
With this note, thank you ma'am. Thank you so very much for giving us a productive session, and dear friends, thank you for watching us.